Good afternoon. This is Desiree, founder of An Empowered Woman and HomWork. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with a good friend, and we've been friends and business partners for a very, very long time, Linda Pliagas. And she is the founder of Realty 411. And they have the magazines, you have live events, and you just have it all that has to do with real estate. Tell us about it, Linda.
Well, thank you, Desiree. Thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we started Realty 411 in 2007, and I wanted to create a network where we can share ideas, share our knowledge, network with influential people in the real estate arena, and just, share what it's like to be a landlord and a real estate investor, and motivate as many other people to get started to build their wealth as well as soon as possible.
Well, it's just something that real estate withstands the test of time. I was involved in it years ago for 25 years, got out of it, and now I'm realizing that truly is the long-term way to build wealth, especially at passive income and things of that type. So there are many different ways that people should can invest in real estate. And a lot of them don't do it, Linda, because they don't know how. So It's a very big investment. It's a lot of money, and there's a lot of stories, I'm sure, between the tenants, toilets, and tantrums that people hear that dissuades them from actually getting involved. But there's ways to do it with the knowledge and with the team and the events like you have, where they can actually feel more comfortable and get involved in different ways. So what are some of the ways that you've seen people invest in real estate?
Sure. Well, the most traditional would be to invest in a single family home. Most people just buy a house that needs a little bit of fixing. They'll fix it up, make it tenant ready, and then they will rent that out. They'll probably get a traditional mortgage on it and just have the tenant pay that note off in 30 years. And, that's the traditional way of doing it. And it does work, and we've done that, of course. But there's also other investments that investors should know about. Multifamily is a great choice for investors. There's also notes. Some investors would rather not be tenants. They would rather hold the paper and be passive. There's also, REITs, if you want to combine it with the stock market, and we've seen, a bullish market more lately. And there's also syndication. So there's a lot of different ways to get involved in real estate, depending on your interest, your level of expertise, and your goals. And your risk too.
That's what I was about to say, is that your tolerance, tolerant risk, sometimes again, it just depends. If you're going to do a fix and flip, you really have to know what you're doing. Otherwise it could be, something it could turn out to be a nightmare as opposed to a really positive thing. But what I really love about real estate, especially in the tenant or landlord communication or relationship, is that what other assets can you acquire that somebody else can pay for, actually pay for that asset over time that would later bring you revenue. If you invest in stocks, you can't have someone else pay for your stocks. If you invest in art or anything else. So real estate is one of the things that you can actually acquire, and have another person pay for that asset for years to come, to the point where it becomes positive and you have that income coming later. So that's why I think it's so powerful long term for anybody who wants that kind of wealth, that kind of, evolving in wealth. So some of the things you mentioned, the fix and flip, so people I think get now multi-residential. Just kind of just a little scenario about how that would work with somebody.
Yeah, so multifamily can be, 1 to 4 units. That still falls under the category of residential real estate. Commercial real estate being 5 units and more. And that's one of my personal favorite types of investing. I love multifamily properties. You get a lot of bang for your buck with multifamily. It's one roof to take care of, one building to take care of, one lawn and lot to take care of, but several income streams coming in from that source. So that tends to be a very popular investment. Something to know about that is you do need a larger down payment to get your foot in the door in multifamily properties versus single family. They do tend to cost more, so you're gonna, need more money of a down payment. It's also a larger risk because they tend to be more money, but at the same time, it kind of balances the risk out, because if you have 4 units and one of them is vacant, you still have 3 others bringing you a source of revenue, which is not the case with the single family investment. So I just think it's a great type of property to add to your portfolio if you can.
Yeah, I think especially the fact that you mentioned is that, if you have one vacancy, the likeliness of you having all vacancies are pretty slim. At least you have other streams of income to still keep you carried forward. So maybe initially, maybe a little more, but you'll be able to have that revenue. And also know that sometimes the financing for that, once you are seasoned and qualified, is a little easier because they factor that in as well, that you don't have, instead of one single family resident, income, you'll have multiple residents. And many times it's also easier to partner on that and syndicate on those, because people can really expect, more, it's not like one house, so more people can actually get involved, and it has more of a business feel, especially when you get to 5 and plus. So,
Absolutely.
mostly that's. And then another thing too that I found, that you have been really one of the early adapters that I know of going out of state. So maybe it's expensive here in California, but someplace in Ohio or Memphis or places like that where you can get that fourplex or maybe the same price as a single family here. And you've been really good at that as far as being able to go out of the area. So share just a little bit what's important to me to decide to do that.
Sure. Well, I've been investing out of state since 2005.
Wow.
Even before the crash, and I still own many of the properties that I had prior to the recession. And I have invested in 4 other states besides California. You can get a lot for your money out of state. It's amazing what you can get when you compare it to the California real estate market. We've owned multifamily properties out of state. We've had good experiences because your experience will depend on your team. That's the bottom line. If you have a great team in place, you will have a great experience. If you do not have a viable team in place, you're going to not have a good experience with that property. So everything boils down to your team. We recommend, before investing in anything, whether it be in California or out of state, go visit the property in person, see the property, get to know the local property managers in the area, and get to build your team even before you buy a property. It's just crucial. In order to be successful in this market, it's pretty much impossible to do it on your own. So you're going to need people to also help you.
Well, it's just that, as in any business, correct? As in any business that you start off, that you want to build a significant amount of wealth, you have to have a good team and managers to be able to manage the managers. So, that is just part of the process. But again, the rewards can be so much better. So you also mentioned REITs. What are REITs for those who are not familiar with REITs? Real estate investment trusts.
Yes, REITs are when you can invest. It's a stock, actually. A REIT is a stock in the stock market. It's a security that you can buy into, where they invest in commercial properties. A lot of them invest in office buildings. They'll invest in industrial space, or shopping centers, triple net properties. And it's pretty much like buying a stock in a company. You pay a certain amount per share, and you keep buying shares if you want to, and hopefully you'll see a nice appreciation and maybe a dividend check from that investment. It's just another way of diversifying your portfolio and getting into real estate. If you maybe don't have a lot of money, you could buy stocks in a REIT for $50, $100 a month, and you can still play in the real estate game. If that's all you can do to start with, well, it's better than not doing it. At least you can start educating yourself, start investing in the real estate as an asset class, and build your wealth and grow from there, and your knowledge from there. Because we really are a proponent of knowledge and information. We feel that with education, you can be a successful investor, and you can take control of your future and of your, your finances. So that's what we are a proponent of, and we strive to give investors that independence that they should have when making crucial decisions for their investments, in order to leave a legacy for their family and their loved ones.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And so you also mentioned syndication. So what are syndications for those that are new?
Yes, syndications is when a group of people pool their money together. Generally, there'll be one person acting as the manager, the general manager of that fund, and they will, control the decision making for the entire group. But this is another way where investors can pool their resources together and buy assets that they may not be able to buy otherwise. So, a lot of research for this type of investing should be done as far as what regions is the property at. For example, one of my friends recently invested in a syndication in a apartment building in San Antonio. So they bought, I believe it was a 200-unit building in San Antonio, Texas. So, and he did his research on the area. Is it a growing area? Is housing needed in that city? There's, with everything and every type of investment, you need to do your research. But syndications provide an excellent way for smaller investors to get in on larger deals with perhaps, A-plus tenants, like big corporate tenants in their properties.
So, that's great that you shared that, because of the fact that's how HomWork is structured.
Oh,
HomWork is structured as it's going to be structured as a syndication where we're going to be acquiring properties. And you're on point about the different areas. We were in Los Angeles, that's where we're based from, but I'm currently in Nevada, in Las Vegas, Nevada, because that's an area, a city, one that you can get a lot more property, a lot more bang for your buck. So we need less to be able to get a well. And then we can then do three for somewhat the price that we can get one in California. And the area is buzzing because of the new hockey team that just started this week, the first professional sports team. And then in 2020, they have the Raiders coming in. Which will be the second. Yeah, the Raiders, they're building a big stadium for the Raiders. It'll be the first time that Nevada, Las Vegas will have two professional sports teams. So that's bringing in all kinds of people that are relocating, that will be visiting, not just for the tourists, but people that are actually moving here because of the fact that they need to be close to those arenas. And so we are investing here now because we feel we're going to have a great appreciation. And so for people, our community that don't have a lot of funds, they can come in a very small amount and be part of this. And with our syndication, it's not just the real estate, but if also they'll be able to get the extra benefit from our host properties and from our membership revenue. So we have a couple of different revenue streams that will be like that icing on the cake in addition to the real estate. So it's a great way for people to get started. And I think what you said about knowing education and networking is really important. And you give these fabulous events all over. Tell us about the one that I'm glad to participate with, the one on the 23rd in Santa Monica. So tell us more about that and who's going to be there. And it's complimentary, so there's no excuse for people not to attend.
Oh, absolutely. Most of our events are complimentary, or they're tied in with several charities that we've worked with in the past. And, like I said, our mission is to provide information and education. And on September 23rd, we're going to have a fabulous event in Santa Monica at the Doubletree Hotel on 4th Street. You can get all the information at Realty 411 Expo /SM, which stands for Santa Monica. That's Realty 411 Expo.com /SM. And we're going to have Desiree speaking about her new venture, HomWork, there. We're also going to have Kathy Fettke, who's been on CNN, Fox News. She's, all over big media spokesperson. She's going to be pinpointing top markets around the country of where investors need to be focusing on. We're going to have HomeVestors of America there, the #1 home buyer in the U.S. They're up to 80,000 properties that they've purchased since the start of their company. They're amazing. And we're going to have Fortune DNA there talking about asset protection. We're going to have information about notes, about flipping in California as well as out of state. We're going to have black belt investors there. It's going to be a true, I'll tell you that.
It's a full day of
It's
nothing
a full
but.
day. Your head is going to be filled with more real estate than you even care to know.
But it's exciting. That's what's motivating.
It
That's what
is.
motivates you. When you see the people, they're just everyday people, the girl and the guy next door that are making millions of dollars from real estate. So, as far as,
Absolutely.
no matter what your education is, no matter, what your background is and so forth, you have that opportunity. That's one open opportunity here, in America. So this is
It's
opportunity to come
wonderful.
for free. So
Mhm.
I'm going to list the information so they can register and contact you for more. They can't make it, join us on the 23rd. I know you have one in New York you were telling me about. And
Yes, we have one in New York City and Manhattan, and we're so honored to be working with a lot of the stars from HGTV, the Home and Garden Television Network. We're featuring Listed Sisters. Yeah, and their show comes on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock, and Alana Barnett and Lex LeBlanc from Listed Sisters, they're identical twins in the Nashville market. One's a realtor, one's a stager, and they're just helping their clients, upgrade to that house, that dream home of theirs. And we're so excited that they're going to be sharing information and tips with us, not only about real estate, but about staging and about, moving up that ladder in real estate. And I can relate to that because we've done that over the years. We've like bought a house, fixed it up, sold it, then bought a nicer house, fixed it up, sold that, and then bought a larger house. So, you can do those things in real estate. You can um, oversee your portfolio, find out, which assets are doing better than others, sell the ones that aren't doing well, or maybe if you live in a certain area that's really high price, you can always sell that property tax-free if you've lived there a couple of years, and then, maybe move to another area that's cheaper. I mean, there's so many, and then pocket the rest and use that to invest. There's so many strategies and ways of doing real estate and changing our portfolio. And I'm always looking at it myself too. I'm always like looking at, okay, which ones are performing the best. Maybe we should, like yesterday, as a matter of fact, I told my husband, I'm like, I think we should move. We should get, 800,000 for our house. And I found a really nice house 20 minutes away for 500,000, and there's a $300,000 difference. We could buy a few more rentals with that difference, So I'm always looking at ways of how can we expedite our portfolio to how can we make intelligent decisions so you can work less and still have more income. Because the reality is, Desiree, after working since I was 18 years old in a variety of industries, in a variety of occupations, I'll be honest with you, I've made more money investing in real estate than I have ever by punching a clock on a daily basis.
no, yeah, I
That's
can
why they
imagine
call,
that.
that's why they call work job, just over broke, because I mean, you barely pay your bills, and that's
Yeah.
about it.
Well, I agree with you 100%. That's why, after the years of Empowered Woman, after being in real estate for 25 years and then the 12 years of Empowered Woman, I realized that I still love the woman, and I was blessed to be able to find something that can combine it, because you just still have to have real estate as part of your portfolio for long term. And the diversification
Absolutely.
that you mentioned is really interesting too. Some people say, oh, I already have a property. Well, diversify. Have a REIT, have a syndicate, part of a syndication, have as many things as you possibly can working for you, because that way you'll be able to look at it and see what accelerates everything moves in different times and different spaces, but you'll be able to have that. So diversification is the key. So Linda, I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to thank our listeners for joining us today. And again, they'll have information on how to join us on the 23rd, as well as all the other events that you have. Where it's Linda Pliagas from Realty 411. And this is Desiree from An Empowered Woman and HomWork. Yay, there's the magazine. And pick up the magazine. They're all over. And thank you for joining us. And until we meet again, live where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. Until next time.